There are collection types that are used to store collections of data, which is the storing of multiple items like lists, tuples, sets and dictionaries. In this video we will have a look at lists. And lists are created by using square brackets. They are ordered, changeable and allow duplicate values. And here is an example of a list, and we can see the square brackets, and inside the square brackets we have what are called items, or sometimes they are called elements as well, and we can see strings, integers, floats, and you can add other data types in there as well. And we will run this in PyCharm very shortly. So lists are ordered, and with ordered it means that the items have a defined order and that order will not change. If we add new items to a list, the new items will be placed at the end of the list. Then there's changeable. With changeable it means that we are able to change, add and remove items in a list after it has been created. And then there's duplicates. With lists, because they are indexed, they can allow duplicate values. And we can see in my underscore list, the third value and the final value is a duplicate. We have London in there twice. And use cases for lists. So examples of why lists are used. So when data changes, your lists get bigger or smaller over time, you can use a list. As lists are mutable, which means data can be changed. However, they are not as quick as tuples. So that's the main use case. If your data changes, you would use a list. And Python has a number of predefined built-in methods that can be used on lists. They're also called arrays, by the way. So lists, arrays, which are all of these in red below. So we can see append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse and sort. And we can see these when we have created the list, which we will do very shortly. So let's jump into PyCharm and create the list. I've copied the list from PowerPoint, so we just need to paste it in, and let's run the file to make sure it runs as well, which it does. So the next thing we will do is, if we type my underscore list and then the dot operator, we can see all the methods in here, and we can see append, for example. Let's just scroll down this list to see all of the methods. So we can use these methods on our list to do things. So these are like operations to do things. So if I click on the method, double click the method, and then if I add Paris inside the brackets and run the file. So Mr. Quotes, let's add the quotes in there and run the file again. Of course, let's move it before the print as well. We want the operation to kick in before we print the list. And now we have printed the list. We can see Paris has been added to the end of the list. We can also do other things. We can print individual items, or sometimes known as elements again, from the list using their index position. So we can do print my underscore list as we have done here, and then we specify the index in square brackets. And as it starts from 0, if we specify 1, it will print the float 5.5. So let's do that. Print the index of 1, which is 0, and then there's 1, 5.5. So let's run the file, and we can see here it's printed out 5.5 there. We can also do a -1 to print out the last item in the list. Let's run the file again, and it's printed out Paris. Even though it's not in this current list, we've added it in the second line here. So it's printed out Paris. -1 is the last item, and -2 will be the second to last item. -3 would be the third to last item. So let's print out Marrakesh and run the file again. Sorry, Bangalore, because Paris is in there as well. Or we can start at an index value instead. So let's start at maybe 3 and print to the end of the list. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it should print Marrakesh, Bangalore, London and Paris. Let's run the file again, and we can see Marrakesh, Bangalore, London and Paris in there now. Or we can do it the opposite way. So let's finish at 3. So it will not print the third index itself. It's up until 3, so it's 0, 1 and 2 instead. So let's run the file. We can see here 1, 5.5 in London, 0, 1, 2. So it doesn't actually print 3 itself. And to do a range, we can put in 1 here. So that's index 1 up until 3, so that will be 1 and 2. Let's run the file again. We can see 5.5 and London, 1 and 2. Just to finish off, going back to the PowerPoint slide, And we've used the append method in the list to add a new item to the list. It adds it to the end of the list. But there's also these items here. So there's clear, which removes all items from the list. Copy returns a copy of that list. Then there is count, which specifies the number of values in the list. And instead of append, if we want to insert an item inside the list, we would use insert instead. So insert is similar to append, where you can add an item at a specified position. Because append adds it to the end of the list, but insert will add it to the position you want to add it inside the list. You can use remove to remove any values from the list. Reverse, which reverses the order of the list. Sort, which sorts the list out. And the one I've missed is index. And this returns the index of the first item of the value we specify. Let's run another method. Let's run count instead. London as the value. Let's add this as a variable. And let's print X here and run the file. And it's telling us the number of times London appears in the list is twice. It says it twice. If we go for Bangalore instead, it should return the value of 1. And let's run the file again, and this time we see 1. We had a look at append just a bit ago, but if we wanted to insert something other than the end, let's say we wanted to insert an item somewhere in the middle or at the beginning, we would use insert instead of append. And this takes two values inside the parenthesis, and the first one is the index of where we want the item to be placed, and the index starts at 0. Let's type 3. Then we type the object of what we want to add to the list. Let's go with Antalya, and let's run the file, and we can see Antalya has been added to the list. We can also remove Antalya by using the remove method. And we leave Antalya in there. Let's remove Antalya and run the file again. So we cannot remove Antalya because Antalya is not in the list in the first place. So let's go with London instead. And let's run the file. This time we should see only one occurrence of London. So it should remove the first occurrence, leaving the last occurrence in place. Let's run the file. And we can see London is still there as the last occurrence. The other one, the duplicate one, or should I say the first occurrence of London, has been removed from the list. We can also copy the list as well. Let's do my underscore list underscore 2. So let's create my underscore list underscore 2, and we will copy my underscore list to create my underscore list underscore 2. So it's a copy of my underscore list. Let's print out both lists and run the file. So we now have two lists with the same items. It's almost like a backup of the original list if something goes wrong. We can also do a clear to clear the list as well. So we can do my underscore list dot clear, and if we run the file, now there are no items in the list, so we have cleared the list. There is also sort as well, so we can sort the items in the list. Let's create some more items in this list. And let's use the sort method. So we can see here it sorts it in reverse as well. We will have a look at that as well, but let's use the sort method for now, and let's run the file. So it's complaining about mixing strings and integers together. So if we remove the strings, let's run the file again. And when we run the file, we can see it's sorted them in ascending order. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. The original file had them all over the place in random order. So we can sort them out in ascending order. With string values, it should sort them out in alphabetical order. Let's try that. Let me paste back in those string items, and let's run the file. And we can see it sorted them out in alphabetical order. So Bangalore starts with a B, then it's L, and then it's M for Marrakesh. But we can also reverse it as well. So if we do a my underscore list dot reverse and run the file again, it should do it the opposite way this time. So we've got Marrakesh, London, London, Bangalore, and it should do the same for the numeric values as well. So if I do 5, 3, 1, let's run the file. Sorry, actually 1, 3, 5. So if we do 1, 3, 5 and run the file, so it reverses them opposite way, starting with the highest value, to the lowest, so descending order this time.